Hi there. Who's ready for some chair yoga today? Go ahead and grab your seat. I'm going to do the same and we will get started. So as always, home base in our chair is sitting on the edge, rooting down through those sit bones, feet flat on the floor in front of us, tongue twister. And your hands can rest wherever they are comfortable as we tune into the breath, of course, first and foremost. And I like to close my eyes. As we drink in a big inhale, maybe sighing out the mouth. Let's take a couple more like that. Big breath in through the nose. Exhale, sigh out the mouth. How about one more? Just kind of sweeping aside anything that you've been doing already today. Anything that's to come after this time, and just allow yourself this time as we start to breathe in through the nose only, out through the nose. Knowing that whatever is on our to-do list will be there waiting for us after this time that we give ourselves. So with every round of breath, allowing any bits of your attention to just return back, just sort of magnetizing them back into this moment. We can start to feel the spine growing long, crown of the head just gently reaching to the sky. Shoulders relax away from the ears. And let's take 3 more of your biggest, fullest breaths just to set the tone for this time. To commit to giving it your best effort, letting go of what does not work for your body today and focusing on what does, just doing our best. So good that we showed up here. So when you're ready, you can gently blink open your eyes. And we're going to stay as connected as we can to that deeper breathing throughout this practice. So let's start just by warming up through the feet a little bit. We're going to inhale to lift both of your heels off the earth. I realize you can't see mine, but my toes are down. You can see my knees kind of rise. Exhale, releasing down. So speaking of my knees rising, move if you like that on your own, just inhaling to lift the heels. You'll notice some muscles in your legs turn on. We're working the whole lower body just by lifting the heels. And exhale, you can lower down. Just a couple more like that. Inhale, squeeze. Just again, listening to your own breath rhythm. Your breath is like your yoga dance partner. One more. Inhale to lift. Exhale to release. Now, same thing, moving with breath, we're gonna lift the toes. So flexing through the feet. Inhale to lift the toes. Ooh, feeling some different muscles turn on. Exhale to release. Inhale, lifting the toes. Exhale, lowering down. So yeah, big stretch in the ankles here, the calves. Taking a few on your own, just warming up here. So taking our time, no need to force anything or stress or strain. We're just gently warming up here, building the breath, building our connection with ourselves. This is really you time. Maybe this is the only you time you get all day. So let's cherish it. Lovely. Let's do one more. Lifting of the toes. And then exhale, release it down. So building now. We're going to start to slowly build. Bringing attention to our belly for a moment. Seeing if we can tighten up the muscles of our core. Almost as if we can imagine drawing our belly button in and up towards our spine. And if our rib cage was like a corset, it's almost like we could knit the ribs together. Kind of squeezing that way. That's the kind of engagement we want to maintain in our core. And we'll start to inhale, stretch that left leg out in front of you. And then exhale, release it down. Inhale to lift and stretch. Exhale, release it down. You might notice, we're going to take a few more like that again on your own, that when you lift the leg, your body kind of wants to sink back. That's when we really want to tune into those core muscles. See if we can stay up nice and tall. Chair yoga is no joke, by the way. You're probably feeling the abs if you're anything like me, probably feeling the top of that thigh. Awesome. Let's do one more. Woo! And then let's switch sides. So right foot now, right leg straightens out, foot lifts. That's our inhale. Exhale, release it down. Inhale, lift and squeeze. Exhale, release it down. And as you take a few more on your own, you might notice that when the challenge is intensified a little bit, where in your body do you notice that tension? Maybe places that don't have anything to do with this movement. Maybe when you notice you start to clench your jaw, or maybe the eyebrow furrows or the shoulders start to move up. See what's there and just notice and see if you can soften a little bit. Really focus on those muscles that are working for us right now. Let's do a couple more. Inhale to lift. Woo, my leg is shaking. Getting a nice butt quiver. It's a good sign that we're working hard. If your muscles start to shake, that is the growth. Let's do one more. Awesome, guys. Release it down. So building from here, right? Starting at the foundation and growing from there. We're going to interlace our hands around our left knee. And inhale, squeeze it up to the chest. Exhale, release it down. We're just going to pump through the knee like that a few times. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, lower down. See if you can use your belly muscles more than your arms here. Your arms and hands are just there for support. Awesome. So squeezing here, knee as high into the chest as you can, pausing, drinking up a big breath. And then we're going to see about taking that left ankle and laying it across the right knee. So your knee might be way up here, and that's just a sign of some tightness in the hips, which is super normal. But thinking about relaxing the knee down as much as we can. We're going to hang out in our pigeon for a moment. Pigeon pose, this is, sitting in a chair. So you can stay right here, sitting up nice and tall. If you feel like you want to intensify the stretch a little more, if you can do that without losing the breath or tensing up a lot, you might try a gentle press of that left knee. Sending that big, juicy breath to any tightness in the hip or anywhere in our body right now, allowing the breath to soften it. And then some of us might even consider leaning forward a little bit. That will definitely intensify the stretch as well. Good opportunity to notice where the thoughts are at today. Just kind of checking in with what kinds of thoughts am I entertaining? What kind of moods, what kind of stories maybe am I telling myself about what's going on in my life? And remembering that they're just stories, right? Our thoughts are all just imaginary things, or oftentimes they are, I should say. And remembering that they're in our control. What we subscribe to is completely up to us. So let's finish one more breath here, completing the exhale. And then we can inhale, slowly rise up. So we're going to inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, all the way up, stretching through both sides of the body, maybe even turning up your chin. And then we're going to enjoy a pigeon twist here. So we're going to start by right hand finds that left knee. And then I'm going to grab onto the back of my chair. I happen to have a handle, but if you don't, or you're in a place where you don't have that, you can always grab lower on the area you're sitting. And then just kind of use that leverage to turn to the left, gazing over your left shoulder to the back of the room. So your spine is like, I like to think of it as like a spiral staircase. Just sort of from the base of our spine all the way up, just kind of twisting and winding. So our mind, or our thought channels, we should say, are almost like channels of a radio or a television, right? It's like this constant broadcast, at least for me, like constantly thoughts, right? And it wasn't until I became aware that I could actually choose my thoughts that my life really started to change. Let's take one more big breath. All the way in, all the way out. And then our next inhale, we can come back through center. Gently let that foot slide off. Oh, and take a moment between sides. Again, just checking in, resetting, choosing if we want to let any judgment about what just happened go. And being open to the experience of this other side. It could be really different. So interlacing our hands now around the right knee, we will start to inhale, squeeze that knee all the way up towards our chest. And then exhale, release it to the earth. Inhale, reach and squeeze. Exhale, lower down. A few more just like that. Now, can I choose and control my thoughts 24/7? No, definitely not. I think only the most enlightened beings on the earth can do that, allegedly. But we get better at it with time, right? It's like, wow, you start to be like, that was an interesting thought I just had. Is that really true? Like, is that something I want to be true? Am I going to put energy behind that thought? Am I going to make that the story I carry with me through my day? Or am I going to choose to let that go because I know that thought is just not helpful, right? Let's squeeze in one more time. You guys are doing awesome. And then we can start to pick up that right ankle, crossing it over the left knee now. And maybe just marvel if you notice a big difference in the sides. That's interesting, right? Not to judge it, but wow, my left hip is so much tighter than my right one. So same options here. You can certainly stay where you are. And even if your knee's up here, you can still give a little gentle press if you want. Seeing if we can flex through that foot that's crossed, so toes are facing forward. And maybe we start to sink in a little bit. Why are we talking about thoughts today? Why is that a topic that came to mind? Well, I believe, and a lot of other people out there, based on experience, that the way we perceive our circumstances has a greater impact on us than our circumstances themselves. So in other words, how we choose to look at things can have a bigger impact on our lives than our actual lives and what happens to us, right? It's how we choose to see things. And so we learn to choose our thoughts wisely, right? Because every action, in fact, every emotion we feel, every mood, started with a thought, whether or not we noticed it. It starts in our brain. So learning to manage our thoughts, wow, like that can be a powerful place for making some real changes in our outside life. Awesome. Let's start to inhale if you've lowered, and we'll start to move into that twist. First with a big breath, arm sweep up. Maybe the gaze lifts, maybe even enjoying a little back bend, leaning back. And then left hand will come to our right knee. I'm going to reach around for that handle, or again, you can use the base of your chair to start to twist over to the right, gazing over your right shoulder. Every inhale, thinking length through the spine, crown of the head growing long. Every exhale, maybe twisting into that staircase just a little bit more. Right now, we could either be thinking something like, wow, my hip's really hurting, or oh, my body's so tight, or oh man, I suck at this, or whatever the thought is. And we can question, wow, is that really true? Maybe in the exact same position, we can change the thought to something like, wow, look at me doing this thing that is new and very uncomfortable. Like, what a cool thing. that I'm willing to try. Or, wow, this is new to me and maybe I have room for growth or I feel a little awkward in it, but I'm still here and I'm taking care of myself, right? Like such a different thought in the same exact position. Let's take one more breath in. As we exhale, we can release, come back to center, gently allow that leg to slide off. And just to work the core, just to give us one more little blast, let's, I know, don't be scared, stay with me now. Find the engagement of that core. You got this. And we're gonna see about lifting both legs. Oh man, I gotta even lean back a little bit. Not easy. Both of my feet are off the floor. Holy moly, talk about core work. Who needs sit-ups? Who needs an ab rower or whatever those machines are? You can sit in a chair and lift your own feet and get a whole bunch of work. Feeling the shaking in the thighs, find the breath, you guys, you've got this. If you need to bring the toes down for a moment, do it. And then come right back in. It's not about perfection. It is about showing up time after time, doing your best. Being willing to sit in the discomfort, being willing to sit in that fire and just breathe through it. We got this. 5. Oh, my calves are shaking. 4. I'm a slow counter, aren't I? 3, 2, 1. And you can slowly lower down. Woof! Good job. Amazing. So let's flush that out a little bit. Let's take some chair cat-cows. Inhale, my hands are on my lap. I'm going to lift through my chest. Look up at the sky, arch through my back. Exhale, press away, tuck in round. Inhale to arch up, lift through the chin. Exhale to tuck and round through the spine. Be more just like that. Awesome. And then from here, let's add a little more movement here. Let's start to make some circles with the rib cage. So really rooting through those sit bones. My hands are on my knees so I can kind of pull and push on them for leverage. I like to inhale, shift my rib cage to the side, shift it all the way forward to the other side, and then shift it back. So like a churning with your rib cage. Ooh, yeah, and this feels kind of good to me. So I encourage you to find a way to make some circles in your seat with your upper body. That feels good to you. Maybe it's a little more loosey-goosey and we're not isolating the rib cage. Maybe you're taking some bigger circles like this. The head and neck can be free to move any kind of way that feels good. And yeah, I just encourage you to find a way that feels really nice for your body right here. Any pace, any pattern. Let's change directions. Maybe feeling some nooks and crannies that you didn't know were there, dusting off those places, right? Adding some mobility. Spinal health is really the barometer of our health in so many ways. Beautiful. Let's take one more. Awesome, guys. Coming back through center, let's inhale, sweep the arms up. Let's take a side bend to the left. Exhaling either left hand to left hip or maybe on your chair as we lean over. Right arm up overhead, rolling that shoulder down into its socket. Maybe we roll around through the neck, looking up and down. Inhale, come all the way up to center, both arms lift. Exhale, other side. Same options here. Let's flow back and forth a couple of times. Inhale up. Exhale, side bend left. Inhaling up. Exhale, side bend right. Keep going like that a few more times, guys. Feel free to close your eyes, take your time, no rush, and really just feel it out for yourself. Really tuning into what sensations you're feeling in your body. Maybe one more each direction. And then we'll meet up in center, both arms lifted overhead. Inhale deeply here, and as we exhale, go ahead and bring your arms out to the side. So wide like wings. We've worked the core, we've worked the legs. Now we're gonna work the arms a little bit. So let's inhale, open the palms to the sky. Exhale, cross and give yourself a big hug. So grabbing opposite shoulders, tucking chin down. We'll inhale, open the arms wide, gazing up. And then exhale, other side. See if you can cross the opposite arm on top. Inhale to open wide. Exhale, hug. Inhale, open wide. Exhale, hug. Beautiful. Let's inhale wide. And we're going to start to make some circles with the arms. Oh yeah, so let's pretend you have a paintbrush on your fingertips. And we're going to try to draw just a small circle. I'm moving my arms to the back, but if you happen to be circling forward, no worries, because we're going to change the direction. And this is going to be a little intense, so stay with me. And if you need to drop your arms for a moment and catch your breath or shake out the burn, go right ahead and then come right back in. So I want you to start to allow your circles to get bigger, slowly. I'm definitely feeling the burn already. So just gradually growing those circles until we are drawing circles as big as we possibly can. Inhaling up, exhaling down. So I'm going to give an example of how our thoughts really can shape the way that we feel about ourselves and the way that we feel about our lives. Sorry, my computer was dying. Where was I? Now that we're back, we were making circles. I was going to give an example of this. So let's start to switch the direction of our circles, and we're going to start with the big ones. So let's say you are driving to work and somebody cuts you off in traffic. Now you could have a thought to yourself of, someone just cut me off. If that's our thought, that thought maybe stays with us for, 15 to 30 seconds, right? Someone cut me off, just a fact. You can start to make your circles a little smaller here. We could, alternatively, decide to make up a story about that person, right? Just in our own mind. Wow, the story could be, that's the third time that someone has cut me off, drawing your circles gently, gradually smaller. That's the third time someone's cut me off this week. I swear, people are just so selfish and nobody cares about each other anymore. Right? That's a story we could tell ourselves about that person. And in that case, that feeling we create from that thought might stay with us for longer. It might carry with us for the rest of the day, the rest of the week even, maybe even longer. So let's pause. Let's hold those arms out. I know they're feeling so heavy, you guys. Amazing work. One more big breath in. Exhale, release it down. Oh, amazing. Let's do some shoulder rolls here. Just kind of circling the shoulders back. You take a few rounds forward. Amazing. And then let's inhale, left arm out to the side. Let's open it as far back as we can, keeping our chest facing forward. So if that's the belief that I have, if that thought created the belief that people are so selfish and no one cares about each other anymore, that thought workout will create some feelings, right? Like those feelings might be frustration, anger, loneliness, depression, anxiety, just from that imaginary story we made, right? When we have no idea why we got cut off, really. And we're going to take those feelings into our day, right? It's going to affect how we show up for work, how we show up for ourselves, maybe the things we're tempted to eat for comfort, right? Just from that thought. Maybe we'll be so exhausted after that draining day of feeling that way that we won't have energy to do a yoga practice or a workout. Bringing that left hand to our right shoulder, letting it rest there, relaxing left shoulder blade down away from the ear and just squeeze your elbow in. And then we can inhale, sweep that left arm up overhead, this time bending at the elbow and bringing our left palm behind us, almost like at the base of our neck or our skull. And then from there, we might reach for that left elbow. Leaning back into that forearm, sitting up nice and tall, big giant stretch for the tricep. And here's the real kicker. Let's inhale, open wide. Exhale, release that left hand down. It can relax as we stretch that right arm to the back of the room as far as we can. And it's okay if it's like right here. Just whatever your body can do today is perfect. But the kicker is our brains are designed to participate in something called confirmation bias. So our brains, for survival, generally believe our thoughts, right? They believe our thoughts are correct. And because of that, we are constantly on the lookout. Our brains are subconsciously for evidence that supports those thoughts because we believe our thoughts. So we're going to look for evidence that they're true. In other words, our brains are trained to look for reasons that we're right. So if we have those thoughts about people in the world, we're going to spend our day unconsciously looking for signs of that people are selfish, that no one cares about each other. How crazy is that? But it can also be used in reverse, right? So if our thought instead is, there are small acts of kindness every day around me that I notice. I notice little moments of kindness every single day. Let's exhale, bring that right palm to the left shoulder, gently grabbing onto that elbow as you relax the shoulder down. Suddenly, that's what my brain's on the lookout for. I'm going to start looking for evidence of kindness everywhere. I'm going to start noticing those things more. I'm going to believe that I live in a world that is full of kindness, and what a different energy to bring to my day. Let's inhale, release it down. Right arm up overhead. Bending at the elbow. Once again, bringing that palm behind our neck as we grab for that right elbow. This is the same kind of concept as how somebody can have everything, right? All the resources, all the health, anything we could possibly want to be happy and still be so unhappy, right? It's the way that we look at things. And someone who has so little, right? There are people who have so little and who have been through so much hardship that somehow feel happy, feel grateful. What is the difference? It's not in the external stuff, right? One more big breath in. Let's release that. A couple more shoulder rolls here. Inhale, squeezing up towards the ears. Exhale, release them down. Take a few one way. Taking a few the other way. You guys made it. You did it. This is the end of our physical movement. So I will invite you to, at this point, return to a seat. I'm going to go ahead and lean back and make myself comfy. So if you want to do that too, by all means. And I encourage you to close the eyes. Feel free to release any control you had over your breath, maybe with a big sigh. And let's just enjoy a few moments of rest together, just quiet. Just sitting with ourselves and absorbing all of that amazing energy you put out. If your mind has wandered, you can gently invite it back to this moment. Maybe wiggle the fingers and toes. Maybe eventually rocking back up in our seat. You might enjoy one final big stretch with arms overhead. Let's pause for a moment with hands at heart center. Just a final moment of gratitude for you, for yourself, choosing to take this time. And we might choose also to end our practice with a thought, right? What is the thought we want to carry with us for the rest of the day? What is the story we're going to tell ourselves? And let's commit to doing our best with that. Just noticing when we start to stray and go down the rabbit hole and bringing it right back to that thought. So thank you so much, you guys. Namaste to all of you. Good work. That was a tough one. So good job for making it till the end. And I'll see you soon.